I'm great. I'm so excited to see your face, and I'm so excited to be here. And I was thinking back to the last time that we practiced, which was, I can't remember the name of the farm, but it was,
Yes.
I mean, over a year ago. And I just had so many fond memories of that. So I'm excited to be here with your community and back with you too.
Oh, it was so amazing. Yeah, for those of you who probably don't know, we did a 1 day retreat at Balustrade Farms, which is a farm ranch near me. My friend Amber and her husband run, and they produce olive oil and wine, and it's so beautiful. And so during COVID, we did that, right? All outdoors. We had like
Mhm.
25, 30 people, and you led us through the most beautiful sound meditation. And that just rocked my world that day. It was so amazing. Everyone loved it so much. So thanks for agreeing
Thank
to be back here.
Of course, I'm excited. Yeah, I remember that day very fondly, so I'm excited to see what we can create today.
Me too. And you all, Haley, a lot of people will be going back to watch this later. So, which is so fun. But I want to just share a little bit about you and how we connected and her skills, you all. But it's been a long time since we met. It's been like 6 or 7 years, I think, at least, because I was still at Williams Sonoma as the culinary director. But a
Yeah.
friend of mine said, you need to meet Haley. She's doing meditation. And I brought her in to do wellness meditation at Williams Sonoma for corporate. And it was so amazing. She just has such an outstanding presence and calming presence. And after working with her a couple of times, I asked her to contribute to my book, The Vibrant Life. And she wrote a section on meditation for this book. And we have been in touch ever since. And whenever I have a chance to share you with the world, I like to, because you're so dang good at this. So thank you for taking the time today.
Of course.
Oh, you,
Thank you so much. And it's so,
oh, you're freezing up a little
am I
bit.
back?
There you are. You're back, but you're a little bit.
Okay. Okay, I'll
Like,
try to speak as slowly as I can.
it's just stopping.
But it does feel like a lifetime ago when we first practiced meditation. And I think that my practices and my teachings have changed. But I do feel like they're just as powerful on Zoom, and if not more powerful, because I'm hoping, the people today are here in the comfort of their own homes. They can get a
Yes.
little cozy, a little comfortable. And I'm excited just to see and really just hold space for everyone to be able to be open and feel free and feel connected to their highest self in this time that we
Oh,
have together.
well, I know that I could really use that. And I think what would be really interesting, Haley, is we did a session with someone else on breath work specifically, but I loved that you asked if you could do breath work as well. And so I would love to hear kind of how that has changed your practice, or what you think is so powerful about that and what you want to take us through today.
Yeah, so I was just thinking about the differences actually between meditation and breath work yesterday, as I was kind of talking to one of my friends about these two separate things. And the way that I work, I feel like they're so combined and so connected, because breath work, it is the practice of bringing this like mindful awareness into your breath, mindful awareness into your body, into your mind, into your whole human experience right now, which
Right.
is kind of the foundation of what a meditation practice is just bringing the mindful awareness. But to me, the reason why I've really gravitated towards breath work is because it is more active. And especially in those moments when Zoom isn't working, or tech goes wrong, or you're late, or just anything that happens in life comes up, I tend to, and a lot of my clients tend to move into more of like an anxiety or this like kind of high stress state. And so using a really active breathwork practice can help you kind of meet you where you're at, because in those states we are so active. So sometimes a meditation practice might be a little harder to access, just
Right.
because we're not quite there down in our nervous system. So I like to use meditation to kind of bring us down, but then the breathwork practice really helps us release and process anything
Mhm.
that feels more high stress or heavy or intense.
God, that's so amazing. I woke up with that feeling today. I hate that anxious, just like, oh my gosh, all of these things running through my head. And so I'm so curious about that. And I think anytime I've done breath work, that's what's happened. It's like to it actually makes me focus more when you're trying to monitor your breath like that, but it has such a amazing effect. I'm curious if you think there's a certain amount of time it takes. Is it different for each person when they're breathing to kind of like calm down?
Yeah, that's actually a good question. My teacher, he's told me that 12 minutes is like the perfect, like to get, if you get to 12 minutes, that's all
Yeah.
you really need to get to that state.
Okay.
Today I do have like a bit of a longer practice for us just because I
Great.
think we have time for it.
We
Um,
do.
it really just takes, to me, to be honest, in my own practice, like if I'm about to go to a social situation where I'm a little bit nervous to meet new people or whatever it might be, it takes me just a few breaths. And I think we can each find different breathwork practices because each breathwork practice itself actually has a different reaction in different people.
Okay.
But he says in like a deep practice, 12 minutes, I say if I can just have 5 breaths just to bring myself back into my body, sometimes that's all I need
Right.
just to be here.
Incredible. Okay, so what do you want to do with us today?
Yay. I'm very excited. So, in this breath work, I typically would ask people to lay down
Mhm,
comfortably. You look like you're in
mhm.
front of a fire, so that might be extra cozy. But if
I
you
have a, I
can,
have a, I'm on a yoga mat and I was like, oh, I can try to, I don't know if people care if they can still see me, but I'll be able to be like that, right?
oh,
So,
nice. Okay,
yeah,
perfect. Yeah, so
okay.
in this breath work, we won't move there yet, but eventually we'll make our way down to the floor. I like to grab like a cozy blanket and get like, okay. And
I
just
am
get as
ready.
comfortable. Yeah, you are ready. Getting as comfortable as you can. But before we get into the actual practice, I just want to talk about this because it's been on my mind and I think we can all relate to this. And you mentioned this morning, you woke up with this anxiety. I'm just making up that it might be a little to do with your to-do list and all the things that you get to
Mhm,
accomplish. And
mhm.
I actually kind of woke up with that same feeling today. And something that is important to me is like, even though I've studied this work for so long, I still wake up with those same feelings. But I
Mhm,
have these practices like breath work that help me come back into my body.
mhm.
And this isn't about this practice, any of these practices, anything in the wellness space isn't about fixing yourself because you don't need to be fixed.
I
Like
love that.
that is so key when we come into spaces like this in wellness in any way, to know that you are whole and complete as you are, and that these practices just kind of help us wash away the stuff that doesn't believe that we're
Mhm,
complete, that doesn't believe we're whole, and reminds us of like all these answers that are in here. So
mhm.
um, I just wanted to mention that before we begin, that this isn't going to fix us, but it's going to remind us of like this inherent knowing that's here, that the
Oh,
answers you're looking for, the job that you're imagining, the partner that you want, whatever it is, it's like it starts here,
mhm.
and hopefully in this practice you'll kind of get a little bit of a glimpse of of coming back home. To me, is what it
Oh,
is.
I love that, and I love kind of that reminder and intention for ourselves just to remember that. But I have to tell you, there's probably a word for this, is that when things are going really bad in the world, like the earthquake that happened in Turkey and Syria, I have this thing of where my first thought is like, oh my gosh, I have a, I think so many of us have an extraordinary amount of compassion and
Yeah.
empathy and sympathy for these people who are struggling so much. And then it almost makes me more anxious because I'm like, I don't really have problems, right? I do this whole thing where I'm like, I know that my problems are nothing like that. But then it's like by kind of telling yourself nothing's wrong or you can't deal with your own stuff, it makes everything worse, right? So you wake up with
Mhm.
that, like, oh my gosh, well, at least I'm not suffering there. And then you're like, but then I'm in my reality here, right? And so
Yeah.
how do you just like acknowledge what is hard for you here and then move on and be like, it's all going to be okay, you know?
Yeah, I think that's such a great point because I actually have a lot of my clients come to me saying the same thing. And, like there's so many problems and so much stuff going on in the world, but it's so important for us to realize that our stuff is real too. It might
Mm-hmm.
not look the same as someone else's, but by acknowledging our stuff is real and it's heavy, and sometimes we need the space to really process it, like we will in this breath work, that I think
Right.
when we acknowledge ourselves, then we can actually show up for the people in our lives, for, you know, the greater community in a stronger way, because we're saying like, I see you and what's going on for you, and I see me too, and I'm giving you the space to feel and process what you need to, because I give myself the space too. So I
Yeah.
think a big piece of this work is acknowledgement of what's going on for ourselves, so we then can have the space to acknowledge what's going on for others too.
I think that's such a great way to frame it. And I'm going to try to remember those words. Like, I see you and I see me too. And we are, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you need both kind of to
Yeah.
be able to move throughout the world. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm super excited. So we're going to do, from a timing perspective, how much time will we spend meditating and breathing with you?
So I'm thinking we'll do probably, I'll say like 10 to 15 minutes of meditation. And
Great.
then we'll we'll hit the magic number of 12 minutes of breath work.
Perfect.
And I'll walk you through a little bit of a demo of this breath work. And then I'll ask everyone to lay down and get
Great.
comfortable, and just so we can feel comfortable in the breath before we get into it.
Okay.
So I always like to say that breath work is a journey. It's a journey of highs, of lows, of opening, of closing, of constriction, of releasing. And sometimes as you move through the journey, emotions come up. And sometimes we don't even know why, and we don't really need to in this practice. It's again bringing that mindfulness, that mindful awareness we talked about at the beginning of our time together, of just like, okay, I'm here with this emotion. But sometimes those emotions you'll actually feel them in your physical body. So your hands might kind of claw up like this.
That's
You
happened.
might feel, yeah, you might feel like some tightening in the jaw. You might feel even like a tingling through the body. And
Okay.
you might also feel none of these things.
Right.
So this practice is your practice. You know your body best. And I'm gonna ask you to breathe harder and maybe breathe a little bit deeper, but you know what's best for you. So whatever feels right, whatever feels comfortable for you, stay in that place with your breath.
Okay.
And just use your breath as your anchor. When you feel distracted, keep coming back there.
Great. Okay.
So this breath is a little bit different because it is done in and out through the mouth. So we're going to be breathing in and out. Every breath you take for the time, just for the 12 minutes, will be in and out through the mouth.
Okay.
You can start by placing just one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart. And we'll
Mm-hmm.
just start to notice how the breath is moving today, how it's
Mm-hmm.
feeling. If you notice it in the belly, if you notice it up in your heart.
Great.
And then we'll start to open up through the jaw. So you can just open up through the mouth, releasing through the jaw, stretching out through the face. I like to open my mouth wide and just rock the jaw side to side. And then scrunch my face together, just kind of building the tension before I like let everything go. And then when you're ready and you feel some tension releasing from your face, you can start to open up through the mouth as wide as you can. And then we'll take our first breath in through the mouth all the way into the belly. So breathing into the belly, breathing up through the heart, and then breathing out. Yes, just like that. Breathing into the mouth, into the belly. Breathe up the heart, and then out. Perfect. Breathe in through the belly. Breathe up through the heart, and out. See if you can open up your mouth just a little bit wider and breathe in through the belly, up through the heart, and out. Perfect. So now you can take some time to get comfortable and cozy. We'll return to this pattern in just a moment, but go ahead and lay down, get as comfortable as you can. You can grab your blanket if you have one nearby. And Amanda, I'm going to try to play my music through
Great.
on my phone.
Great.
And then just let me know if you can hear it.
I'm going to stay here and tell you while everybody else relaxes.
Okay.
Hi, Charlie.
Let's see.
Sorry, my son just woke up. I'm like, I hear you. Hello.
Can you hear this?
Yes.
Okay. How's the level of the volume?
Well, I can still hear you as well, so it's great. Is everybody good? Oh, you know what? I disabled the chat. Let's see if people let me enable it and see. Can you guys everyone could hear you earlier, which is good. If anybody has a problem with the music versus Hailey speaking.
Yeah, I'll try to speak over it just to see if you can hear both. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, perfect.
And by the way, we'll have plenty of time for questions at the end, you guys. You can type them in, okay?
Okay, perfect.
Okay, all good, they say. Okay, great.
Okay, great.
Perfect.
So when you're ready, you can get comfortable, get cozy.
Hailey, no pillow under your head too. Is that right? What do you think?
Yeah. Thank you for that reminder. Yeah, no pillow under the head. I like to kind of keep the airways open. If you do want a pillow, I recommend putting it under your knees.
Right. Okay, great. I'm going to move this. You just yell at me if I like fall asleep.
Okay, I will.
You're like, Amanda, come back to us.
It's happened before. So when you're ready, you can get comfortable settling into your body. If it felt good for you, you can place one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. If not, you can just rest your hands beside you, whatever feels easy for your body today. And again, we'll just come back to your breath, bringing all your awareness, all your focus into what's present for you right now. And there might be a lot on your mind. That's okay. Welcome it into this practice. This is part of it. Allowing the distractions to be here, the thoughts to be here, the things that pull us this way and that. We'll use our breath to navigate through all of the distractions we might feel. So feel your body actually sinking deeper into the floor beneath you, allowing your body to be heavy, allowing yourself to feel held. Seeing if you can soften through anything physical in the body, relaxing through the neck, the shoulders, the face, the hips, even the soles of the feet. As we move into a little bit more space, see if you can welcome in an intention for today's practice. A word, a phrase, something that you know would support you right now. Trusting whatever first comes into your mind. And then when you have your intention, start to repeat it silently in your mind. Breathing it in and breathing out anything that doesn't match this intention any longer. And we'll take a few breaths like this to anchor this intention deeper into your body, deeper into your being. Just a few more rounds to allow your intention to fill you up. And one more big breath in like that, breathing in as fully as you can. And this time, holding your breath at the very, very top of your inhale. If you happen to be pregnant, let the breath go. If you aren't pregnant, hold this breath. Keep holding the breath just for 10 more seconds. Just for 5, 3, 2, 1. Let the breath go. Let it all the way out. And then when you're ready, you can start to open up through the mouth. Again, creating space in the mouth, maybe stretching out through the jaw. And we'll come back to that same pattern that we practiced before where we breathed in and out through the mouth. So you'll breathe in through the mouth, into the belly, breathing up into the heart, and then breathing out. Breathe in, up, and out. Stay with the breath. In, up, and out. And keep up with this cycle of breath, this pattern right here. Finding a pace that feels comfortable for you as you maintain that breath into the belly, up through the heart, and out. And within these first few moments, you might just need to get a little comfortable, a little more settled into your breath. So take the time to play with the breath. Maybe you extend the inhale a little bit more, really letting it take up space from the inside out. Breathing in, up, out. Belly, chest, exhale. And if your mind feels extra distracted right now, that's okay. Just reminding your mind to take a break for this time that we have together. That you'll come back to all the things that are here. Giving yourself permission just to be here right now, just to be with you right now. Just a few more rounds of this breath. And then we'll practice another breath retention. Again, if you happen to be pregnant, keep breathing in this pattern. But if you aren't pregnant, you can practice this breath retention with us. So with your next breath in, I'll ask you again to fill up through the belly, to breathe up through the heart, and then hold this breath at the top of your inhale. We're going to practice just seeing if we can hold the breath for 12 seconds. Just for 5, 3, 2, 1. Let the breath all the way go. Let it fully empty out. And then once you're empty, see if you can hold yourself there in that space of stillness, of emptiness, holding the breath out just for 12 seconds. And again, this is just seeing if we can. So see if you can hold the breath out just for 8 more seconds. Holding the breath just for 3, 2, 1. And then when you're ready, fill up with air, coming back to that same pattern. So breathing in through the belly, breathing up through the heart, and then breathing out. Keep going like that. Breathing in, up, out. Breathe in, up, and out. And seeing if you can let the breath do the work for you. Letting the breath investigate what's here in your physical body, what's here in your mind. And allowing it to cleanse, to wipe away anything that feels old and heavy. Stay with yourself here. Stay right here with your breath, with whatever is coming up for you right now. Beautiful. And you might start to notice any sensations, maybe emotions, even tears. All of it is normal. All of it is welcome in this practice. There's nothing to figure out. Just giving yourself the space to be with what's here for you now. Just a few more breaths like this. Stay with it. Stay with you. And in just a moment, we're going to play with a little vocal release. So when you're ready, you can fill up with air, holding this next breath at the very, very top of your inhale, breathing in as deeply as you can. Hold the breath at the very, very top of your inhale. And as you hold your breath here, think about whatever it is that you're ready to let go of, whatever it is you're ready to release in this moment. And then when you feel ready, you can let out a big audible sigh. Letting something go on the exhale. And we'll do one more like that. So breathing in fully, hold this breath at the very, very top of your inhale. And let out a big sigh when you're ready. Shaking out the body if you need to. And when you feel ready, come right back to your breath. Breathe in, up, out. That same pattern you know. You just have a few more minutes left to breathe in this pattern. So see if in these last few minutes you can find your edge. Maybe that's taking the breath a little faster. Maybe that's just taking the breath even deeper. Remembering to trust yourself, to trust that you know exactly what you need. And breathe into that. Breathe into that knowing. Opening up the mouth just a little bit more. See if you can take in even more air. With each breath you take in, imagining yourself coming back to that intention you set, filling up with whatever it is you need most in this moment. Slowly emptying out with each breath you take out. You're almost there. Just 5 more rounds of breath like this. And then with your next breath out, imagining yourself, feeling yourself empty out fully with your exhale, empty out the breath all the way till there's no air left. And then this time holding your breath out. See if you can hold the breath out just for 15 seconds. Softening any tension you might feel. Keep holding the breath out. Just for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And this time, filling up with air, breathe deep into the belly, hold this breath. One last breath holds here at the very top of your inhale. Again, seeing if you could hold the breath at the top just for 15 seconds. Softening in the physical body, but keep holding the breath. Just for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let the breath go. And for these next few minutes, slowly return to a natural pattern of your breath, breathing in slowly, breathing out slowly. Just allow yourself to be with this new state that you have created. Whatever is present for you, whatever is for you. In these next few moments, just allow yourself to be with what is. And if your mind feels distracted, maybe you bring it back to your intention that you set at the beginning of this time together. Or just bring your mind back to your breath, giving yourself the space just to be with you. And for these last few moments, I invite you to welcome in a sense of gratitude in a way that feels authentic to you. Allowing that sense of gratitude just to be here within you as you take these next few breaths in and out. Remembering that you can come back into a state of presence, into this state whenever you choose. And when you're ready, we'll start to slowly bring awareness back into your physical body. So just start to feel the rise and the fall of your belly, of your top chest. Eventually, you can bring awareness into the fingers and the toes, maybe starting to wiggle through the fingers, the toes, rolling through the ankles, the wrists. Stretching out in any way that feels good for you. If you're still laying down, you can bring the soles of the feet to the floor and either hug your knees in towards your chest, giving yourself a big hug, or knock your knees side to side. Eventually, you'll roll over to one side and pause here for just a moment. And as slowly as you possibly can, just make your way up to a comfortable seated position, keeping your eyes closed. Bring your hands to touch your palms together in front of your heart, and we'll just start to rub through the hands. Feeling our own energy and the heat start to build. Bringing your hands right over your heart. And take a small bow in the crown of your head, bowing in towards you. Honoring yourself in this moment for showing up for today's practice. Honoring your breath. And honoring everything that makes you magnificently you. I invite you to repeat silently, I love you and your name. And then you can start to flutter your eyes open, coming back into your room and your space. Thank you guys so much. Thank you all so much for participating in this practice and just allowing yourself to breathe, to be open, and to ride the wave that can be breath work. I appreciate each of you so much. Thank you,
Oh,
Amanda.
Hailey, that was so amazing. Do you know what happened to me this time? That's happened to me in the past. It was incredible. I got up a little bit early as you were starting to talk at the end, and I just put my hands down, and it's just pure energy. It's like my hands are just lit up. It's like
Mm-hmm.
actual energy that, and it's
Yeah.
still kind of like vibrating.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Something I'll just like touch on because you brought that up. There's a lot of science to the tingling we feel in our hands. It's called tetany. That's the scientific term. But my
Yeah.
teacher always says that when we can feel so deeply and connected into our hands have this direct line up through our arms into our heart. And so when we can feel in our hands, it's just kind of like the indication of how open we are through our hearts. So I'm really happy that you shared that.
And so when your hands sometimes get cramped up too, is it just like sometimes when I go to meditate, even I notice my hands are like having a hard time being open or like open to the sky, right? I like want to
Yeah.
put them down but this was just like magnetic. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, that's my interpretation is this openness in our heart. And
I
I
love
also
that.
invite to be curious about what it might mean to them because, we're also unique and specific in our own ways.
Absolutely. And if anybody has any questions, I opened it up. You're welcome to ask Hailey right now. I can't even explain too, just like with meditation, but maybe in a more intense way, how I feel better. You just feel better about life coming out of that. I feel like I can actually get into my day and that it's all going to be okay.
Yeah, I think it's like there's something about the active breathing that can really
Mm-hmm.
just clear out the extra stuff that we all get in our minds, in our bodies, in our
Mm-hmm.
hearts, and just ground us into
Mm-hmm.
that the strongest version of ourselves, the most capable version of ourselves. So I'm happy that you could feel that so
Oh,
quickly.
it's
That's the
remarkable.
yeah, that's the beauty of it.
And I don't know if anybody will have any questions. Then they might be relaxing or getting on with their day. But can I ask as well? So I've done the inhaling where you go stomach, heart, and then down. And then what are the benefits do you think of when you have us hold it at the top and the bottom? Is it changing something for us?
So I think everyone you'll kind of talk to has a different belief on that. The
Mm-hmm.
reason why I do it personally, though, is because I notice that, especially when I first start to breathe, a lot of times my breath actually can't get that deep. And then you might have noticed that from the beginning of your practice to the end, you're
To
like,
the
wow, I
end.
actually have space. So
Right.
for me, when I hold my breath at the top, it allows the tension to build for the space to be created. And I think of when I get stretched, right? After a workout,
Mm-hmm.
my trainer asks me to like actually push against his arm, right? To like push the
Right.
in. So,
Yes.
and then you can go so much deeper. So it's almost the same with
Yes.
your breath. You're filling up, holding, feeling that tension. And then with the release, you're like, wow, there's a lot more space here. So
Right.
that's my kind of
I like
theory of
that.
why I do it, like really stretch out from the inside out,
Yeah.
because a lot of times I just at first can't really take those deep breaths and I kind of have to coach myself into it. And it's the
Right.
same reason behind we would do that vocal release of just
Loved
letting,
it.
like practicing letting go and using our throat chakra too.
Right. Okay. That was amazing. I love that too. And for some reason, you all, I visualize when we're going in, I like visualize all of the good stuff coming in, like all of the kind of like mantra positive things I want. And when you have us breathe out, I'm literally like thinking bad words in my body. Do
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
like anything yucky. I'm like, goodbye,
Yeah,
fear,
exactly.
goodbye, lack, goodbye, anything. Just like, and it helps
Yeah,
to
I
have the
love that.
sound with it.
It does. I think so too. I always I talk about my nephew all the time, but I think about him so often in these practices and you have kids too, you know, like they're expressive, especially when they're young. Their
Yeah.
kids are just like letting it go. And I think we
Yes.
get to let it go more as adults. And so that's my
Yes.
little way of
It's
letting it
so
go.
good. It's so good. Well, I'm so excited because this will live on and I can go back and play it back and just continue to practice with you.
Me too.
So, gosh, thank you. I'm so glad it worked out for you to do this with us today. And I'll take one last
Me
call
too.
for questions. I think everybody's good. I don't know.
To be honest, I never really get questions after breathwork because I think people are kind of in their state.
They're just like in their best, they're living their best lives, you know? So,
Yeah.
I love that so much. Well, Hailey, as always, I'm so grateful to have you in my life. Oh, let's see, KQ. Uh, I love that. Oh, that's so sweet, KQ. Thank you. I
Yeah,
got to meet
thank you.
her in real life last week, one of our very loyal students. It was great.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
so
we're all
great.
kind of feeling all of that goodness today, right? What a wonderful practice. And it's exactly that. I'm going to keep practicing, Hailey.
Yeah, please do and let me know how it goes. I'm so excited and honored just to be able to be here. This is it for me. So this has been such a treat and I really do believe we can feel each other through this. So I'm grateful for the space that we all held for each other today.
I completely agree. And I spoke with someone who was an energy healer worker at the beginning of the pandemic and she said I never thought that this would be a thing, but she was like I've completely changed my mind. I agree. Like
Yeah,
I got so much out of that. So thank you so much. Oh,
me
there
too.
is one question. Do you always breathe in through the mouth or do you also breathe in through the nose?
Yeah, that's a great question. So again, there's this man that I have also studied under. He wrote the book called The Art of Breath, and um, typically, actually, what we want to do in everyday life is breathe in and out through our nose because our nose is filtering everything, right? And so that's why when we do this type of breath, it's a shorter breath But the reason why we breathe, or a shorter amount of time, excuse me.
Mm.
But the reason why we breathe in and out through our mouth is because we can actually take in more oxygen that way. And so when
Mm.
we're taking in more oxygen, we're getting into those higher states of consciousness where you feel the tingling or you feel the jaw tightening or opening. So in this practice, for me, I like to use my mouth for that breath, just because I can get more oxygen and get into that higher altered state quicker.
Great.
But it's definitely not like the way you want to breathe in
Yes,
your
in
normal
real
life.
life. Yes.
Exactly. Yes.
There are some great books. I think the book Breath as well, where it talks. They've done so many studies on people who are mouth breathers versus through your nose, and it really is in really regular life supposed to go through our nose, right? So, but
Yeah,
so
exactly.
helpful to get there faster through our mouths in this practice. So thank you.
Of course. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Well, sending you all the love in the world on the opposite coast. We miss you here.
I know.
And
I'm sending back.
you're coming back?
No, I'm sending the love back, but
Oh, I
hopefully
was
I
like,
am
you're
coming
coming back
back soon.
when?
Hopefully I'm coming back to visit soon, though.
Good. I hope you do. And thank you so much again. And we'll be in touch for sure.
Yeah, thank you so much, Amanda.
Okay,
Take care,
Haley.
everyone. Have a beautiful day.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.